This is an invitation to you to be able to explore your body beyond what we know as our physical body, beyond the muscles and the nervous system and the immune system. We're going to venture into inner space of our bodies and look at the cells and what they have to do with our body and our health. The middle diagram represents an illustration to give you an idea of all the trillions and trillions of cells that make you, that carry you. I always like to think of the cells, families. We have trillions of cells, and we have different families that look different to be able to do different jobs. There are at least 200 different kinds of cells. We have brain cells and liver cells, muscle cells, red blood cells and white blood cells and intestinal cells, bone cells. Everything that you need is done at a cellular level. We also, in terms of understanding our bodies and ourself, we're also an energy body. We're cellular domains, and then we also carry energy. So everything your cells need for life and to thrive is what you need. It's always easy to think about, it may not be easy, to think about what do you need to do to stay well and to stay in a state of well-being. You need to breathe clean air, and your cells need good air to be able to transform energy. We need good food, so we need to feed ourselves and our cells nourishing, healthy food. We need to provide ourselves and our cells with adequate water and fluids because the cells need hydration in order to be able to function well. We need to move. Cells need to move. That's one of the concepts of cellular intelligence. The proof of cellular intelligence that they're really smart is that they have to be able to move. They have to know where to go. They also have to be able to, now that they've got food and water, they have to be able to transform the food into energy that they need to function. They need to be able to let go of the waste and toxins, just like we need to be able to let go of our waste and toxic ideas as well. Each cell serves a purpose depending on the family that it lives in. If it's a brain cell, it serves a very different function than a white blood cell or an immune cell. So they serve a purpose. We each serve a purpose. So all of these are lessons basically to understand your life as a cellular universe. Cells connect with each other. They communicate. They collaborate. They're always in constant communication with one another and with us. They're able to diagnose when something goes wrong and repair it or replace it or get rid of it and recycle the parts that they can still use. They also need to rest and renew. So this is what you need to do, what we need to do for life and to thrive. We need to get moving, for sure. Our cells carry you, your body, your mind, your spirit, and the divine energy, however you describe that. And every day, the choices that you make, the thoughts that you think every moment, influence your cells all the time. Your cells depend on you. So if you are always in worry about what happened yesterday or what could happen tomorrow, you're changing the environment of your cells. You're feeding them with molecules that don't support their well-being. So it's important to recognize that what you think and feel and do affects every one of the cells in your body. And I always like to use this as something to remember. Our cells are always in the now, which means I might be worried 5 minutes ago, but if I move into the awareness that my cells are always in the now, I don't need to feed them worry. I don't need to do that. Now I need to find ways to get rid of that. So when we are afraid, anxious, worried, stressed, our cells respond. They respond physically by changing their tension. They respond energetically as well. So let's see what happens. Here's a diagram just so you get an idea of what the basic structures, the architecture of your cells are all about. These are actually photomicrographs of cells. So the outside edge of every cell is called the cell membrane. The core center of the cell is the nucleus that holds most of the genes in the body. And then the structure that connects everything is something called the cytoskeleton, which is basically made up of strings. It's a matrix of strings and tubes and struts that really regulate how your cells respond. So today's focus is on stress. And what is stress? It's not a specific event. It's how we react or perceive the event. Stress is frequently defined as a perception, your thoughts that you don't have the resources to handle the situation, that you lack the stamina, the energy, the emotions, the support, the money, or the beliefs to handle the situation. Anything where you think you can't handle it can contribute to stress. So how we perceive the situation, if we see it as a threat rather than a challenge, our cells respond in exactly how you're perceiving the situation. So what happens during stress? We tighten. First of all, our body goes into fight or flight mode. We tighten up, just like the fist. You can actually feel it. If you make a fist, you can feel how that tension goes all the way up your arms. So the reason for the muscle tension is to enable us to be able to fight or get away, run away. Our breathing also becomes more rapid and shallow. One sign of a stress response, because a lot of it is about awareness, is what's happening to your breathing. Does it move more to your chest than your belly? Is it rapid and shallow? And notice the temperature of your hands. That also changes. The blood flow changes to fuel the big muscles and not if it moves away from your hands and your feet. So if they're cold and it's a comfortable temperature where you are, it's likely that you're experiencing some kind of stress. And everything during a stress response, everything you need for short-term survival is turned on. Energy, mobilization, tensing your muscles, and everything you need for long-term survival is turned off, meaning you don't need the GI system to work. We see animals that let go of everything when they're really afraid. Sometimes people do too. We don't need the reproductive system turned on. The body wants to conserve energy to be able to help us fight or flight. So at a cellular level, what this means is, first of all, the immune cells don't function very well. They are thrown out of balance. The genes that the repair systems for the genes and DNA are slowed down, which means we can have more mutations. What also happens, our cells produce a whole lot less energy, which disables them from doing whatever they need to keep us well at a cellular molecular level. So our cells, when we are stressed and tense, our cells also tense up, which causes energy depletion and the cells can't do their job. Our cells need to be able to be relaxed to bring in enough oxygen and air. They need to be able to regenerate about 2 to 3 pounds of chemical energy called ATP every day. This is ATP, micrograph of ATP. So if you're tired all the time, that's also can be a sign that you're under constant stress. Now, here's a good example to show you the difference at a cellular level. We see the hand on the left is tense, holding that rubber ball, and squeeze it just like you did before. And here are examples above it of stressed cells on the left. They become tense. And on the right, when we release the tension in our hands, if you do that now, you can feel the difference of when a closed, tight hand or an open hand. And this is relaxed cells. relax and open. And why do we need to do that? One reason is when our cells are stressed, not only does the energy become compromised, not only does the repair system become compromised, but also it can change genetic expression. It changes what the genes can do. Now, we can't avoid stress, but the key thing to remember is that it's chronic stress. If we're stressed all the time, day in and day out, we can't escape what's going in our mind. That's deteriorating our cells, if you will. So the consequences of chronic stress, we have mood swings. We can be more depressed. We can be more anxious. We lose our memory. We know that the neurons in the part of the brain called the hippocampus, where the neurons for memory live, they're destroyed during chronic stress, constant stress. We have an increased risk for infection. So if we're getting chemotherapy and that puts us at a state of also increased risk, we want to make sure that we're keeping our stress down. Our coping choices are usually compromised, which means you might go for a cigarette instead of taking a walk. You might not be able to get along well with people. You may have more GI upsets from what you're eating and what you're feeling. You're changing, actually, when we're under constant stress. You've heard the term microbiome. The microbiome in your gut changes with constant stress. So we see that overall, what we're thinking is influencing every activity of us at a cellular level. Immune cells can become hyperactivated or depressed in their activity. It increases inflammation, and most illnesses have inflammation as a consequence or a cause. Those mutations in the genes can't be fixed. It's much too slow, the repair system. Cells don't have enough energy to do their jobs. They can't make the antibody proteins. They can't make the other molecules, the messenger molecules that they need to communicate with each other. So everything gets compromised when we're under chronic stress. But that's not a real problem, because we have lots and lots of ways to nurture ourselves to release a lot of stress. I'm going to just tell you about a few of them. One, you can take your cells for a walk when you're in a funky or down mood. I always think about I take my cells out for a walk, yes, because most of my neighbors are out walking dogs. I don't have a dog, so I can think I'm taking my cells for a walk. And the cells need to move, they need to breathe. That 10 minutes of a walk can bring them more oxygen and have them make more ATP. So if we're stressed, we can go out and go for a walk. Just go out into your yard, breathe some fresh air, meditate, enjoy nature, call a friend to take a walk with. And if you are unable to take a walk or move very much, get on the phone and call somebody so you can really stay connected. We know that connection and community is really important, and support for relieving some of our stress. And also know that since you're a community of trillions and trillions of cells, you're never alone. Your cells are always with you. That's why I say I can take them for a walk. Another good strategy for relieving stress is listen to music that soothes your soul. Your cells vibrate and resonate with that. Remember, our cells are actually string instruments. So the strings that connect the edges to the center respond to sound, respond to music, respond to chanting, respond to humming. And those are simple strategies to help relieve the stress, even when it looks like there's no way you can do that. Your cells are listening. So these strings vibrate. They respond to energy, they will respond to light, they will respond to color, they respond to movement. And you can find many ways, find what works best for you to relax your cells, laugh, let go, listen to music, hug someone, hug yourself, hum. All these are ways to nourish yourself at a cellular level, and it certainly helps your mind and the body feel pretty good too. One key thing about stress is discover, it's an awareness exercise, really, to become aware of what are the cues in your body that tell you that you're feeling stress. Are your shoulders up to your ears? Are your muscles tense? Are you making fists? Is your jaw clenched? What's the temperature of your hands? Are they cold? Are they warm? Just become aware of your body as the first step, and know that all of your cells are responding that way. And then other ways, find ways to play. Go to a funny movie, laugh a lot. There's something called the Alan Watts Ha meditation. You can try this with your here today, going ha. Do it with me. Ha, ha, ha. And you will discover after doing enough, well, I'll let you discover what will happen after you do a number of ha ha ha's with each other. People are always, although they can be stressful, they're always another resource for reducing our stress, to find that we can have support. Ask for support when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for support. Move. Do Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, ways to move your cells and move your body. Once you have a sense of you can manage the situation, the threat becomes a challenge. Like, well, what can I do to manage this situation? What can I do right now to bring my cells back into now, so that my mind isn't running the show into yesterday or what will happen tomorrow? Your cells are listening all the time. And something to keep in mind, that every cell is filled with a divine spark of life, however you call that energy of life. Each cell contains that, which means we are a sacred, divine being. Every cell is then a sanctuary for life, since it's the container for the life force energy. And I'm inviting you to remember that the real voyage of discovery comes not in looking for new lands or new things to do, but the real voyage of discovery is seeing ourselves in new eyes, with new light. How do we experience ourselves? I invite you, before I finish this program, if you haven't read this book already, my book, Secrets of Your Cells, it gives you a lot of strategies and understanding of how your cells work at every level. And I also have on my website, sondrabarrett.com, some audio files, some free Qigong video that you could learn how to do Qigong, which we know has been able to influence the DNA repair system in people who have cancer. So there are a lot of good strategies on the website as well as in the book. Now what I'm going to do is invite you to go within. Since we don't need to go anyplace, the journey is within ourselves to find the gold mine, if you will, of who we are and the splendor of our own light and life. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and feel free, if you don't want to do this, you can listen to it, but I think you will enjoy this very brief exercise. Close your eyes. Feel where your body is touching the chair or the floor, where your feet are touching the floor. Notice the temperature of your hands. Notice whether you're clenching your jaw. Relax your shoulders. And now feel your breath. Feel your breath as it comes in your nostrils, as it fills your belly, as it fills your chest. Just allow whatever is natural for you right now to be what you're experiencing without judgment. So you're taking in some deep breaths. You're feeling your chest move. You might even become aware of your heartbeat. You might become aware that the temperature of your hands is changing. So with each breath, trillions of your cells are involved in creating this experience for you, in creating holding your consciousness, that you're aware of your breath. So trillions of your cellular ancestors are here holding you in a sacred sanctuary. So each time you breathe into your breath, into your chest, to your belly, become aware or imagine that that part, the chest cavity, your heart, your belly, holds the sanctuary of you, holds all of you, because you are a cellular universe. It enables you to experience that. All the blood flow from the pumping of your heart goes to all the cells in your body, carrying new oxygen from your breath. So allow yourself to be in great appreciation that look at what your cells are doing for you, with you. You might even take a moment to say thank you to them. Thank you for getting me here this far. Thank you for being me. Thank you for holding my life. Thank you for making my pretty face. So each breath, you're breathing into the sanctuary of you, the sacredness of you. And you might even take a moment to give thanks to whatever comes to your heart and mind right now. What are you giving thanks for? The sunshine, the rain, being in this beautiful place. Giving thanks, being grateful is always a way to release stress. Always. Whether you write it down or simply feel it in your body, giving gratitude. Gratitude here for Rainbow Valley, for this amazing place. And then bring your awareness back to your breath, back to feeling yourself held up by the chair or the floor. Become aware of the temperature of your hands, and at your own rate, open your eyes, becoming aware that you're in this beautiful space. The space is a sanctuary, as are you. And we always have something to be grateful for. Grateful for the breath. Grateful for being here together. Thank you. God bless.